My name is Nick Woolsey. I've been spinning since January 2001, which is 13 and a half years ago. Where I'm from. I grew up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and then I lived in Vancouver for years when I discovered poi and fire spinning. And so I was at one of these parties at the Roberts Creek Community Hall, and around 3 o'clock in the morning I went outdoors, take a break, and there were some of the BC fire spinners doing their thing. And I watched this woman who, to this day I'm not sure who it was, but she was spinning fire poi really well. So I was like mid-20s, and I was like, I want to pick something up and really apply myself to it. That's movement and it's artistic. And then when I saw poi that night, I was like, that's it. And so that was it. I mean, early on, I had a vision of a few things that quickly became obvious it would take a while. So, everybody, the idea of flowers is pretty obvious, right? I mean, poi going one way, you can circle your arm forward or backwards. Like, as kids, we played with the spirograph, but then you go to do it, and it's like, oh, this is, and, I thought, okay, this will take a year or two, and so set to it. It was like 2.5 years after I started. It was under the Burrard Street Bridge, which is on the other side of downtown. We just, got a couple of cameras, went down there, and filmed. Nice location. It kind of came together. I put that up, and I actually went off to Thailand at some point. They had been getting some hits, and it really tipped while I was in Thailand. But I didn't have any Google Analytics, anything like this. So, and I feel like Andy, I love him. I feel like he cursed me. He's the one who said he sort of said that he doesn't think I'll never make a video that's going to top like the importance of Dervish Years. And I was like, no, but yes, I will. I will too. But I don't think I have. But then meanwhile, what happened was I started getting my first requests to come teach workshops. Right? And so there I was in Vancouver. I'm back from Thailand. I don't know what to do and what I'm going to do for work. And now I owe people money, and I'm getting emails. Come to San Francisco, come to Los Angeles. And I was like, okay, well, sure, I'll come to California. So I did my first, trip to California teaching workshops. I wanted to combine like poi and flow with like Tai Chi and yoga and all these things. And then I saw this poster advertising a studio for rent. And when I looked into it, it would seem pretty cheap at the time, for real estate in Vancouver. And so I ended up leasing it. What I learned the hard way was that very often if people aren't investing their own money or you're not paying them, they're very likely to flake out on you because they have nothing to lose. So, and that's when I got banned from the States. And so then I hadn't lined anything up. So I ended up back in an empty studio with nothing lined up, with no money, because I was supposed to be in the States teaching these workshops and blah, blah, blah. And that was sort of when it really began to not work out. So a year after it opened, it closed. And in the final weeks, we filmed the first, scales of poi. Home of Poi picked it up. Yeah. And I've sold way more through Home of Poi than anybody else. It's a quirky DVD in some ways. So at first, Chris, watched it and he was like, yeah, we think we'll order 20, And I'm sitting there on like a stack of 1,000 of them because he had to print that many at the time. And I'm like, okay, I'll send you 20, and he sent him 20, and they sold really quick. And then he was like, oh, he sent us 500, right, or whatever. And I was like, phew. And so when they ordered 500, I was like, thank you, thank you, this is actually working. When I got to Bali and was again out of money, not knowing what I was going to do, I had this flash of wanting to make like a really good beginner poi series. And I had this like intense flash of doing it as kind of like a bit of a story, but none of that happened. Jolson, who's now Jaguar Mary, gets to Bali. I'm not always very organized. All this other stuff was happening with stuff. And before you know it, we're already running out of time. And I'm like, okay, let's get up. We're going to film some more advanced stuff. Let's start making some videos for the website. And we're going to, do you want to come to Europe? So, and the whole time, just to keep things rolling, I keep putting up videos on the website. And so in the end, we ended up with Adventures in Poi, like the second intermediate DVD. One of the reasons I think people like me as a teacher is that I'm good at some stuff and I'm really not good at other stuff in life. So I really understand what it's like to be a really slow, like if I'm taking singing lessons, where I really struggle with that. So I think a good teacher really understands things, is willing to understand things from the student's perspective. The best thing that happened to me because of all of this? Yeah, I probably got kissed once or twice. That's probably one of the best. Not as often as I would think, but yeah, I mean, things like, one off the top of my head is like, say, meeting Burning Dan, right? Like, and other, and Banyan and T. Ferry and John and you, and just like my family of like Poi and Flow and Fire friends. I feel the one way I'm wealthy is just the people in my life, and a lot of people in my life these days are people I've met through Poi. So yeah, that's the best thing. So I mean, from my perspective, I'm watching this whole generation is going. It's like I've got my strengths, and I think and as a spinner and as like a teacher and as a facilitator and all of this, but I'm definitely watching the next generation like eclipsing, and I don't think I can catch up. And I've definitely had my, I should have listened to my mom times when things didn't seem like they were working out. Because you can't eat YouTube hits or even date them, right? Like it's just YouTube hits don't end up meaning much. And for a while it was like, well, maybe the vision really is now to like share what I know and try to, open up some revenue streams so I can build Poi permaculture camps. I still want to do something awesome with my life. I keep wanting, and if I can't be I can't be on the frontier, a forerunner of the art form in the way I used to be. Maybe be more like, like a backbench boy, like be more like a, the person running, with the visionary running Poi permaculture camp, something like that. But yeah, and for me that's like, and that's often when I'll get depressed when I totally lose all the vision, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, right? I'm just a washed up Poi spinner now, right? That's, yeah, and then when the vision comes back and I start to have to answer the question, yeah, I'm bringing to the world how to do this, right? And I want to share this because it's awesome. Be as authentic as you can. And most things people tell you about how you should be are bullshit. Just be authentic.
Hey, so I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. God only knows I enjoyed doing it. The only bad part of it was there was just too much good stuff. Nick and I spoke for nearly an hour, and I had to cut it down to close to 7 minutes in order to make it fit on my YouTube channel. So the good news is that if you want to hear the rest of the interview, including all these fun stories he shared with me, you can do so by going to drexfactor.com/profilesInPoi, and you'll have the option there of downloading the full interview for $4. So yeah, you should check it out because it was definitely a fun interview to have, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.